Hello there, Internet. Hello there, YouTube. Welcome back to the Hunter Gamers solo hardcore playthrough of XML2 playing as Nightcrawling. This time, it has been a hot minute since I last streamed, and I apologize for that. I've been dealing with some medical stuff, needing to get some scans and other things like that. My fingers kind of been out of action. It's not working so good. Anyway, we're dealing with that. It's okay now, and we're gonna get in there. We're gonna continue. We're on Act Two. Act Two, a little bit dicey for Nightcrawler, but we'll see. We should be fine. He's very strong. Anyway, let's go. Let's not waste time.
Let the games begin.
And here we are. Pop the Age of Apocalypse skin on. Someone mentioned that it's a classic, and I kind of agree with them. So there we go. This is our, it's called a leveling build. We have Divine Blades, very, very useful, good boss damage with Ad Clear. Just kind of does everything you need. Bread and butter skill. Teleport, helpful utility. Everyone likes it. Teleport attack. Again, it's just a kind of enhanced version of teleport in a sense because it allows you to teleport an unlimited distance as long as you're moving to an enemy. So very good for closing the gap, moving around. General mobility cut's very good. His ultimate, probably the single best boss killer in the game. As you can see, it continually adds more attacks and then the damage goes up. Massive, massive multiplicative effect. And we're just going for sword mastery. Otherwise, a little bit of uncanny reflexes for the passive dodge chance and just one pip and critical strike. Our gear is all just damage, damage, damage. That's all we want. Damage solves all your problems in this game, particularly if you are fast. Nightcrawler is fast enough, and he only gets faster. So let's head in. We'll find the first boss. I got stuck in a crack in the ground, of course. All right.
Hey, X-Men, obvious. Oh, that's you. Yeah, oi, if it ain't one of my... Yeah, whatever.
And this will be a bit of a DPS check, and I think we should be fine with it. This guy, he's a little bit tanky. He chips you down a little bit. He's not too dangerous. If you get sometimes this crits and the ads can kind of throw some damage in as well, and burst can be a little bit spooky. But you have to get pretty unlucky. You have to get unlucky just to kind of get badly hurt against this boss. The main issue it's going to present is, if your damage is not high enough, then it'll take you a long time to kill him, and you're constantly taxing your resources until you do that. But as you can see, our damage is quite good. These guys are extremely tanky, no matter how good your damage is. They're also immune to a lot of CC, not stuns, but they are immune to knockbacks and repositioning and so on. Now, these caves, some of the most dangerous areas in the game because mobs can just drop down from the roof. It's on like a hard trigger. There's no way to kind of bait it out when you're further away. And usually, like these guys, not super dangerous, but when a bunch of those big bugs drop down, if they have a dangerous aura, particularly enhanced damage, increased speed, something along those lines, like this is pretty scary. You kind of just need to ult them.
It's not going so well for you.
You kind of just need to ult them, delete them instantly before they get a chance to burst you down. Now, we had some gear drop here. Let's see what we got here. +9 mental damage, +5 resistance. Very small upgrade, but an upgrade nonetheless. I'll take it. And then nothing here. We really do need something better on these two slots. The upgrades will come, and it's just like things get a little bit slower until then. I've been thinking, oh, that's super scary. And as you can see, we have a very nice delete button here, which really helps out with these grubs. Now, abnormal, I believe. Okay, alright. I thought abnormal was energy damage. been playing this game for 20 years. At least we know what abnormal is this time. No need to check it. Lesson learned. Fool you once, shame on you. Fool me twice. Shame on... Can't fool me twice. Anyway. Yeah, let's continue on. Here we are at the boss. Grab myself my level, but I think we'll be fine. Beautiful. But yeah, I have been thinking about maybe doing some Diablo 2 hardcore content, just because this game, the hardcore runs of this game they're not grindy. The only part that's grindy is like the very early game, if you really want to try to like set yourself up with a really weak character. And we're taking a lot of damage initially, as I say. When his damage combines with that of the ads, it can be a little bit spicy, but it's not that bad. But yes, as I was saying, there is something like I can pretty much only get 3 nights content from, you know, from a hardcore playthrough in this game. Well, I wouldn't say 3, but basically, like Act 1, Act 2, pretty much an hour each. So that's 2 nights streaming. Act 3, closer to 2 hours. Act 4 again closer to 2 hours, and then Act 5 is basically another hour. So it's like basically in a week, I can have done like a full hardcore run, and you know, they just like aside from then maybe doing some like challenge runs, which I guess I've already kind of done a little bit of that, like the Toad Spit only run, which I still need to try to complete again, I suppose. Anyway, let's... Yeah, we just keep the damage of that coming. Focus and body definitely have priority, and let's sell some stuff. We'll talk to these guys, so we might get a little bit of EXP from the conversations. I take a quick look at the danger room as well.
Hello. I wanted, I hope.
I suppose you kind know a word of the
Danger room. Doing the qualifying exam. Not really worried about any of this stuff. Maybe if I was close to a level, I would do it, but I'm not, so let's not stress it. But yeah.
Hello, my friends.
Just sell some stuff. Maybe grab a bonus skill point or something.
Sorry, no credit.
What do we have here? Anything worth saving up for, keeping an eye out for? That's not the worst, but I think we'll have better by the time I can use it. And it's not like it won't be here. So one game that I really want to get working, it's like a real retro game, is... Oh, I pretty much just sent myself broke there. We should be okay. Anyway, as I say, it's a retro game. It's called One Must Fall 2097, and during the kind of 2D, you know the 2D fighter era when everything was like sprite based, right? You know, sprite based animations. It was like Street Fighter and Final Fight and
Welcome to the
you know, the Darkstalkers, and then going into like the Versus series and all that, like around that kind of era, but a little bit earlier in that era. There was sort of nothing PC exclusive that was good in terms of fighting games, except for this one game called One Must Fall 2097. It was really freaking good, and it was one of those things where they had really leaned into the strength of it being on the PC platform. because in that, so the premise of the game is that, you know, you're fighting in essentially like giant mecha, right? And you're the pilot, but like your mech, okay, you know, you do campaigns, not campaigns, you do like championships, and then you like make money from your wins, and you get, you know, huge purses if you win like tournaments and blah blah blah. And the idea is to like go through all the tournaments and like eventually become the world champion. But the people in the higher tournaments have like super upgraded mechs, so you have to like, unless you're like amazing at the game, you have to kind of scrub it out in the low tier tournaments first, trying to make a little bit of money. And when you lose money, and you can end up having to like sell your upgrades even to like repair your robot. So it has this like really cool campaign system, which is the kind of thing you just couldn't do on console at that time. And typically, if a game had that kind of, you know, role-play system, it probably wouldn't be mechanically great. But like this game actually had like some really nice like combo mechanics, re-hit mechanics, juggles. Like it was all stuff you had to turn on in options. Like you had to turn on re-hit mode if you actually wanted to combo people. Otherwise, every knockdown was like a hard knockdown. And I think that was to make it more accessible, I suppose, for people who didn't want to learn combos and so on. They could just kind of grind through it with timing on basic attacks and so on. But there were also like hidden bosses and so on that you could get like special upgrades off, and it was a really freaking cool game. It had really interesting fighting game mechanics, and just the premise of it being all like these like giant mechs, you know, allows for like really interesting designs. And even the arenas were really interesting. Like you had arena hazards where you could like smash someone into a wall and they get electrocuted, or you know, little things like that. And I don't know that you can get it to run in a like stable way on a modern Windows. You might have to use DOSBox or something, and I'm not that tech savvy, but I mean, I'm certain I can just look it up and figure out how to do it, because it can't be that complicated. And I really want to do a campaign playthrough of One Must Fall 2097, like the full, you know, however many nights it takes to become, you know, world champion. Because even if you're bad at the fighting mechanics of the game, you can just kind of grind it out, like keep doing the low-level tournaments, keep farming the easy wins to get more and more money in your pocket, and then, you know, buy the upgrades. But the thing that's really cool about it was like depending on the robot you had, you know, like if your robot had a lot of like really positive, like good frame data on, I don't know, like punches or something, because you had, you know, like 3 different types of punch. You know, you had like a quick punch, like a kind of neutral punch, and then like a heavy punch. And, you know, some characters would have like really good data on some of those. Like their quick punches would be like really good pokes, and then their heavy punch would be like a knockdown that can like initiate re-hits, and then you like can re-hit with more quick punches. And, you know, just like, you know, it's like, imagine any fighting game kit, right? And it's like some have better punches, some have better kicks, some have better like aerials, blah blah blah. It's like that, right? Just like any fighting game. But then think about it. Now it's like you can get upgrades, but your upgrades can be like, you know, upgrade your punches or upgrade your kick power. So the kind of upgrades that you're going to get will tend to depend on the robot that you're playing with, and like even the robot will get upgraded over time, because buying new robots you have to get money for them. Like you start off with a kind of starter bot that you can 100% finish the game on it. It's actually pretty strong, pretty good all around, like typical, you know, typical starter. But yeah, I don't know. There's a few things I'd kind of like to stream, but I also think that I really do need to get my, like, I am looking at getting my PC upgraded, and it will be not, like, in the distant future, but, like, I have a date set for when I'm putting the order in. I know exactly what I'm getting. But, you know, it could take a little while for them to build it and for it to be delivered out and blah, blah, blah. So I'm not really planning to have it here in, let's say, inside a month, but, you know, if it takes a month, it takes a month, and it will be. That's a. So then I would have options to stream some other games like. I quite like trying to do the maps on like Vermintide solo, like playing with bots. Oh, I really just goofed up here. How did I do this twice in a row, in 2 playthroughs in a row? Luckily I have my ult, so...
Please. Oh, please. Negative. I lack enough power.
Luckily they're too goofy to actually like...
Negative.
Be dangerous if you just kill the elite there. And actually... Hold on. Accurate is good, but it's a little bit too high level for us just yet. We're almost there though. That's fine. Another squad. And you can see how nice even just the normal teleport attack is against these guys who love to kite. Just really makes this section of the game nice. And here we should... Okay. Okay. Luckily the damage they do is not that bad. I might just ult these guys. These guys are usually pretty freaking tanky.
You should have run away.
And as you can see, Nightcrawling is pretty quick at dishing out the damage. It's that thing of like, it's, you know, you can potentially have a big number. You can make a big number, big damage number with certain builds, but is it effective damage? Like, if you think about someone like, if anyone watched the playthrough I did with Jean, the solo hardcore, you have to build her as a melee character, and she does a lot, tremendous amounts of damage. Like, just her basic melees will like straight up chunk out bosses, right? But that's what you just have your basic melees to spam. So against someone like who's dangerous, like Sugarman or Apocalypse or something that you can't brawl with because you don't have any iframes, you don't have any kind of like attacks that you can use to sort of stick and move, like get in and get out, like the way that Sabretooth or Wolverine or someone can. You just have to use her like dive bomb, flying heavy attack over and over again, and it does good damage. You can kill everything. You can see that I get through all the bosses and stuff in that one, but Lord, it's awkward and it's slow. But of course, just going through normal mobs, you just like punch, and they all fall over, so that's not too bad. But yeah. Wait, did I? I did. Alright. I probably want an extreme for Sauron, but... And as you can see, these shooty guys always among the more dangerous enemies in the game, just because they kite away, so you can't just like, you know, cut through like one mob in a couple of attacks, because they all spread out, they separate, they kite away from you in various directions, and they do a lot of damage. And their projectiles, the guys who shoot, the like machine gun guys, I am certain you can't actually dodge their projectiles. I feel like it is like a kind of laser beam hit scan. They shoot, you instantly take damage. And this guy, we can't really interact with him until he lands. then we can interact with him like pretty successfully. So let's see if we can farm another extreme from these barrels while he flies around like a tit. I know it looks like he's landed there, but I promise you he hasn't really. And yeah, as you can see, even teleport attack doesn't do anything. Now when he does that dive, that means he's landed. So when he's just like perched on the edge like that, it's just a kind of little weird thing that it does. So it just kind of gets hung up on the edges. If you actually go towards him or far enough away from him, he just insta goes back into the sky. So unless you have a projectile to blast him with, a ranged ability,
I lack enough power for that.
you just kind of ignore him when he's doing that, and you just kind of honestly ignore him when he's in the sky. If your character does good melee damage, you can throw some of those barrels at him. Most of them won't hit. You know, it is what it is. Maybe spam some radials, try to catch him. He's pretty hard to hit. There are rage abilities that hit him really easily, like Cyclops' Optic Blast, any kind of auto fire, any kind of turret. You know, any fast projectile like a beam can spam him out pretty nicely when he's in the sky. But a lot of characters are just going to struggle to hit him. And that's kind of one of the things where I say like why Scarlet Witch is probably one of the worst characters in this game. I would say the worst, because she has rage advantage in theory, but in practice her projectiles are so slow and the casting speeds are so slow that you basically have to be in melee range to hit with them consistently. So
Yeah, my powers grow in strength. Yeah, come on.
it's not the best arrangement. And teleport should make navigating this area just like a little bit more comfy, but of course a little bit risky teleporting into any room when you don't know what is in there. Visionary, we like Visionary. Unfortunately, I believe we already have a band upgrade. Yeah, that's always the way. That's always the way. It's going to give you two of what you. It's going to give you a second one of what you already have, rather than something you need. The desire sensor. Nothing you can do about it. It's too powerful. Anyway. Yeah, why not? And, you know, I am getting a redistribute at some point. Because, of course, we are not going to be using Divine Blades as our kind of endgame skill. A sword build on Nightcrawler is not bad. You can even, one of his better skills is if you have a teammate, so if you play with Nightcrawler and Toad, you can use Secretion to giga buff, absolutely giga buff, the bleed damage of one of Nightcrawler's sword attacks that primarily does bleed damage. Because you remember, bleeds are very sensitive to anything that increases your speed. Because in this game, anything that increases your speed increases your animation speed, so it increases the tick rate of the bleeds. But I can tell you, when it comes to any kind of DOT in this game, the tick rate increases considerably more than just 10%. If it says 10%, for whatever reason, just very specifically on things like bleeds, the tick rate will be massively enhanced by anything that buffs your speed. That's why the spit build on Toad, when you focus on the ground spit, on his mucus spit, his first ability, and you focus on building that as a DOT, that's why that build is so devastating in terms of the damage output, because you have Secretion comboed with that, and Secretion considerably increases your movement and attack speed, animation speed in general. Anyway, we need to grab someone who has Might so we can shift these columns. Actually, I might be able to teleport past them. Okay, nice. Good. Alright, teleport coming in nice and clutch there, allowing us to Grab this cheeky tech station. Very, very handy. But yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of games that I could play and I'm curious about. Something I would kind of like to do is to just do a stream where... So one game that I played a lot is Warframe. And Warframe is a pretty grindy game that has had a lot of content creep. And I've kind of had long periods where I would like no life that game, so it's usually hard for the content to kind of run away from me. Like I just need to kind of come back on for like a week or two and do the new quest, grind the new whatever, and be back at kind of like very high end mastery rank. And that's all just based on time put in the game. It's not about skill or anything. But as I say, I am kind of curious just how many nights I would have to stream, like how many hours I would have to play, even as a returning player who has a pretty good idea of how to kind of min-max and optimize my progression. How long would it take me to, finish every quest in the Codex on a brand new account? Like open up a brand new account and just do every quest. Because
Enjoy your slumber.
there's quite a lot of grinding involved for some of them. Like, you have to get levels up in open worlds to get certain materials, and yeah, it's very grinding. The first few quests go by very quickly, but yeah, as I say,
Need help getting out.
I am genuinely curious, A, how long it would take, and B, how fast I could do it. In fairness, I will say, if I have to do it solo, it could take a very long time. Because, one of the ways to kind of optimize your progress in Warframe is just be okay asking for help. We're gonna go to another area first before we go here. We're gonna go to the corridors. Which I think over here. What I wouldn't give for like one more point in teleport. If you actually max teleport, it's one of the best movement abilities in the game. But it's very, very, very suboptimal use of skill points. You're putting kind of like... I mean, you have to put a bunch of skill points into an ability that doesn't increase your damage, that doesn't mitigate damage. It's just quality of life. And it's so nice to have an AoE that will break vases and stuff. But yeah, as I say, if you have Secretion and if you have Toad's unique item, which increases his speed, so you do Toad Nightcrawler the combo, you can use this ability, Piercing Strike, which as you can see, even at level 1, is 100 damage. It scales quite nicely. And then, of course, it gets additional crit chance and base damage from Sword Mastery. And then, of course, it can also get crit chance from Crit Strike. The DOTs will get the massive buff from the 10% speed on your unique item, and then get a further massive buff from Toad's Secretion. But I would not recommend using that build if you don't have a Toad in the body. You're better off focusing on the teleports, or if you want to make a Nightcrawler who uses swords, Divine Blades is probably still your best bet. Just because, it just does it. It just does the business. It takes a lot of skill points to max, but because it's the only damage skill you will actually need if you are playing a sword build, it's doable. Not too bad. And these guys are tanky and damaging. Very dangerous, very spicy.
There you
Alright.
are.
Okay. I need to get someone who can fly, but we'll go to the other side first, since I can do that by myself. And you gotta be careful with these guys. The damage does kind of shotgun, so
Please forgive me for that.
they can also follow up with like a melee combo, which can do a surprising amount of burst. So you just don't want to kind of face tank straight into a mob of them and risk eating a bunch of projectiles like that. They can chunk you down quite quickly. With no auras and only like 2 of them, you don't have to worry too much. But again, it's just like, why take the damage if you can avoid it instead? Anyway, these guys here. You know, I love that they have the little animation of them like crawling on the walls. I don't always notice like little touches like that.
Wish I hadn't had to do that.
And we just kite them into a nice line and cha-chung, cha-chung. Bonk, bonk. On your like. Anyway. Yeah, after that last run, the performance in Act 2 was kind of miserable. Mostly just due to like the combat performance was fine, but the actual pathing and completion was, the mapping was questionable. That's what I always forget about Diablo, is like the mapping. The mapping is so big brain.
I guarantee all of it.
You know, like if you look at like ladder players and people who speedrun the content, it all comes down to mapping. And you can like learn a little bit, but like fully understanding the tiles is like, you're never going to compete with the sweat. Oh no, I forgot to actually grab someone with strength. That's okay. There is a waypoint back here, so we can just grab them there. No worries. But yes. You'll never be able to like come into that scene as a new player and not feel like, you know, just totally flexed on by the people who play it, because like the people who like, you know, stream that game and stuff, that do like challenge runs and all that sort of stuff, they've legitimately been playing that game for like, you know, I don't know why I'm allocating stats on this guy. I think it's just so I can fly without eating all of my energy pots. But yeah, as I was saying, you will never compete. They have legitimately decades of experience just reading Diablo 2 maps. And I don't mean like, I technically have decades experience reading Diablo 2 maps, but I had not played consistently since, you know, the launch of freaking Diablo 2 Vanilla Classic, not even Lord of Destruction. I only played that game for like a couple of months before Lord of Destruction came out.
Will do.
So I was kind of late to the party even at the time, and then
Now I can defeat any evil.
it was kind of the first MMO type game that I ever kind of got into and got excited about, and Iron Man might be helping us out a little bit in this fight, but
I wish I hadn't had to do that.
that's rare. Love to see it. And I believe this is the Elemental Tomb. Yeah, we don't want to go there. Let's just fly out back to the waypoint. I just wanted to make sure we didn't need anything in there. I don't want to leave the map and then come back. That's the sort of thing that wastes way too much time. But this time we're going to leave. We're going to go to the gateway.
Yes.
Bro, why are you so far behind? Jeez. Alright. 1, 2, 1, 2. Easy, easy, easy. No question. Unless we can put a point in Master of Chaos, probably not going to involve anything other than keeping pace with Divine Blades. And let's take a quick look at this rare. Actually, really quite nice. But of course, it's a pair of gloves. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Once you have that gear slot sorted, you're going to find so much good stuff that it's going to tilt you. It's the Desire Center. And this is the gateway, yes.
Ah, there you are.
Okay, I may just be dead here. See? Oh my lord. Okay, I need a minute to just like harness my chi here and think about how we're going to engage on that. In the meantime, we can maybe farm a potion or two. So yeah, this is where this act can be very, very dangerous. Okay, let's see if we can sneak around here and just start chipping down some of these ads, giving myself space to work with. The dangerous stuff can be dealt with if we have space, but the okay, all right. Plan B. Plan B. Great way to lose is to not realize
See you again.
when you just need resources to play with. If I have my ult, I literally just delete that mob. No muss, no fuss. If I don't, they will kill me. Almost certainly. And it's not even the burst, it's a combination of the burst and the hit stun from the high damage they're doing. So we'll go into the bonus area. The bonus area should be safe without the ult, and I can farm my ult in here. And we'll go back there and finish off those goobers. But yeah, this...
Wish I hadn't had to do that.
This is where things can get quite tough on Nightcrawler.
Now you are in for it.
See if we can bait them.
Sorry, my friends.
So, you know, we're still on our leveling build, we're still vulnerable, we can't just kind of run through everything. I didn't get my extreme, unfortunately. There's still a couple of these little pots to break. It's fine though, if I have to, I'll go back to the southern habitats to get that ult if I need to. It's, you know, this is the solo hardcore life. If you don't want to see that game over screen, sometimes you have to do a little bit of grinding. And that's all fine. So yeah, we were on pace to finish Act 2 in a pretty quick time. But that little snag is going to set us back a little bit. Not too much. We just got our extreme now. We can TP back and go clear the area out. And it's just that one big mob there. It's so dangerous with the overlapping elites. I'm such a Google. Anyway. Pay no attention to the idiot behind the gun. Let us continue on.
What have we here?
Sometimes I enjoy this too much.
Shake that healthy waistband. Alright. Now it should be okay. Push up here. And she is so tanky. But on her own, not dangerous.
I wish I hadn't had to do that.
Shake the healthy waistband. Alright. Let us continue. Grab our loots. Much deserved. Hard earned. Well fought for. This is dangerous. But it's like you can just funnel them in a little bit.
Sometimes
Very
I
nice.
enjoy this too much.
And as you saw, just 4 regular gun guys, because they got a knockdown on me. Oh, okay, 2 of them were elites. The burst they were doing was like really non-trivial. Those gun guys are so dangerous. When they have, like, if you have an elite group like that, and then there's a boss with like enhanced damage or something, like you can get absolutely shredded. Like you can't maybe not even react. Morlock Razors are another enemy that can very easily just one-shot you if they have the right affixes, I suppose you would call them.
You ain't seen the last of me.
And here we are just fighting for EXP. We push on the bosses. Very little point. Lord, that's a lot of damage. Sorry, I was actually looking at chat because I can see I have a viewer, but I can't see chat for some reason. I think. Whoops, wrong button there. Okay, now at least I can see chat. Alright, let's back to the game. Luckily it didn't crash or anything.
This is gonna be sweet.
And yeah, we just don't want to miss out the EXP here, particularly for the level 20 breakpoint of being able to put on some
Sorry, my friend.
new equipment. Because we're still going to be on our leveling build for Mikhail, and he is just one of the most dangerous act bosses in the game, purely because of the length of the confrontation, and the fact that he's just very good at draining out your resources and making it so that you can't kill him before he, you know, beats the hell out of you and makes you eat lots and lots of potions. You know, he can also just straight up stun lock and kill you in his first phase. His first phase is dangerous because because of the potential stun lock. And just the resource drain of having to kill so many clones.
What have we here?
On your bike. Now, I should be able to teleport safely across. Because I would like to get these tech bit caches, would be nice. We do have a little bit of movement. Most of it. That one looks a little bit too far, a little bit too spicy for me. I am a little bit worried now. Because sometimes it will straight up just teleport you to death. If you...
Here, a target.
I am unable to lift this. Please forgive me for that.
Yeah, the only downside of throwing enemies off like that is that you don't gain loot that they drop. And that's the shrine. Wow, okay. Red belt. So the main thing here was just to go through and get all these ads, grab some of these tech bits and stuff. No need to continue pushing on and taking risky teleports just for a little bit of cash monies. Here we just want to basically head back to the gateway, complete that quest, and clear out the Beyond the Sanctum, get to the boss. And there's a few more potentially dangerous encounters coming up, but we should be fine. We have our ult. You know, we're not broke. It is a leveling build, but as leveling builds go, it's pretty freaking good. And here, remember, you can kind of skip this area by going down through the teleporter at the other end. But I prefer to kill the enemies. I want, as I say, I want the EXP. We want to get to level 20 before the boss if we can, and we're very close. So now, always good to remember that they can and will break that wall. And these jerks are very, very damaging if they land all their projectiles, so
See what you can do.
you do want to respect them a little bit, not like run at them in a straight line or anything like that. If they have enhanced damage, auras, you know, ult them, get rid of them fast. Luckily, these mobs have not been particularly scary or dangerous, and we just kind of go through, grab them, get the EXP, and have a good game and a good life. And I really hope I actually get to my endgame build on this character and don't die beforehand, as with freaking poor old Juggernaut. He never got the showing he deserved. But we will finish his run one of these days, and look at that, we can get an extra point in Master Chaos. Absolutely mandatory, especially with the boss fight coming up. We will want Disappearing Act at some point, but not yet. Not until we can put a couple of points in it. That's when we'll be doing redistribute. And I wish I could get 1 point in Teleport Mastery, just one, for what it would do for Master Chaos would be very nice. But it is what it is. Master Chaos is still extremely strong. And that is extremely scary. So let's...
Enjoy your slumber.
not play stupid games and win stupid prizes. Let us actually.
It isn't over.
So go win the game. No, don't fall off. Okay.
It's good to see you again.
Okay, level 20 gear is now usable. That's going to be really nice for us. We can go ahead and... Oh, that's really good. This is really good. And unfortunately, nothing to
It's good to see you again.
use on that slot, but that's alright. I'm sure we will pick something up at some point.
It's all in excellent condition.
Marvelous. That's not the worst. But the +9 physical damage, I think, just gets more benefit. And we just make sure we have all the potions, make sure we have all the things. We did. I was going to say we did just get a level. We actually didn't. So let's not go ahead and buy any levels. I can have another alt token, which is really nice. Hopefully we will have one before we get to the boss. So there's still a decent amount of ads to grind through before we get to him. Hold on. Yeah, okay. And yeah, the teleporters are down there. And here we just chuck our two little thingy thingies.
You
And very nice to have an AoE to break these and not have to just jump up there and punch them all one at a time. Sanity, the player's sanity is a resource too.
I wish I hadn't had to do that.
Qualifying exam, very nice. Extra skill point, always welcome.
Ain't you courageous?
And we'll just be extra super safe with these shooty guys. I don't know.
You ain't seen the last of me.
You should have.
You know, I've lost enough characters in this sort of era, let's call it. We lost poor Toad, we lost poor Juggernaut. If I did a real build with Toad, I would never actually lose him. But Juggernaut is just one of those characters who, you know... I mean, it was a very unlucky death, because it was a kind of animation glitch with his charge that just yeeted us into we kind of self-ledged. And unfortunately, that's just, when you have abilities like that, it can happen, and I should have been way more careful using it. So, you know, no one to blame but me.
Please. For that.
Yeah, it's all free money in the bank. Continue looting our way forward. You kind of ignore these guys almost, like they're not very dangerous. Will this be a higher level piece of kit? It typically is. Oh, okay. It's worse than what we're using, so no reason. But still a rare. Always nice to find a rare. Feels good. Unlike Diablo, where rares are just like rares can be the most unbelievable items in that game. Like the genuine god rolls, the true unicorns
Searching for
that have all the perfect affixes and so on.
Come,
Are like incomparable, but and literally one extreme is dead.
I am invincible.
I don't know, man. You didn't look invincible to me. And look at that. He even gave us our extreme back. What a nice guy. Let's just go loot these jars. Make sure we are as tight and nicely put together as we can be for the boss fight. I could go back and get that skill point. I don't necessarily think I will. I don't think anything I can put one single skill point in is going to necessarily save me in there if things go wrong. We just need to outplay it. That's always scary because player error occurs. And this is why I very strongly value a hero like Colossus. And you know, even Rogue, I won't say Rogue is F tier, she 100% isn't. There's basically no F tier characters in this game, apart from Scarlet Witch. It also depends on the build. Some builds are F tier. But Scarlet Witch just doesn't have strong builds. But she's very good in a team. Amazing in a team, in fact. One of the best team buffs.
They have made it much indeed. Perhaps the bodyguard such which the enemy
And one of the best debuffs on the enemy. So the combination of those two, she's bringing all the utility she needs in a team. But she just doesn't do damage on her own. And damage solves all your problems, as we say, and effective damage, and that's the thing. Even when her abilities do decent damage, like she has an ability called Hex Locked, the damage of that can get quite decent. She has an ability called Combustion, which the damage of that can get quite decent as a radial, but the radial doesn't have good enough CC to keep you safe, considering how close and the fact that you essentially want to be surrounded to get full value out of using it, so it's not particularly effective damage. And then the Hex ability, it's called Reality Shift, that's the one. The damage is very good, but it's a very, very, very slow single target projectile with a slow casting speed, and as we said, the problem with those abilities on Wander is that they are essentially melee abilities. You can't realistically use them at range, unless there's just a big mob at the end of a hallway and you just kind of spam it down the hallway. You can pick a couple off just as they run towards you.
My God, this is fantastic.
And as you can see, we do pretty well against Mikhail. Abilities that have like multi-hit long animations, like Divine Blades, you can't actually be stunned out of, like, you can't be knocked down out of the animation, so they actually do provide a lot of defensive utility against bosses like this guy. And that's true of Divine Blades, it's also true of Gambit's Staff Assault. It's true of abilities that just lock you into an animation in general, so like Siberian Express, Rogue's Torpedo Strike. They are all pretty safe abilities to spam, and there he is. He's just hiding somewhere. As you can see, just the fact that we can teleport attack them, just bink bink and get rid of them, is very handy. But yeah, damage solves all your problems, as we say. Now this, you know, if you're not playing a strong build, that area can be very dangerous because it grinds you down. And then this area can actually grind you down more, because there's just things that can make this take longer than it should. Like, if you spawn a lot of those range guys, then you have to go kill them. Like, these guys will have to kill them to hopefully get respawns on big guys. And the odds that you don't eat a few beams are low. The beams can do a lot of freaking damage, so...
That control panel is in the wrong position for you to use it.
Enjoy. Yes.
I just took a lot of damage, but I was also putting the console on the wrong platform for Completely brain farted.
God, you have lowered 3 of my shields.
Ah, good lord, 3 of my shit. And yeah, teleport attack makes this section quite doable, even with the range guys. Of course, sometimes they are just pieces of shit, as you can see. This guy just flatly refuses to walk on the platform. And I'm getting fucking rolled by the laser beam in the meantime. I should have just killed him, refreshed him with a big guy, but it's fine. Here we are. We have Master Chaos.
Was growing tired of this game.
But he makes it so you can't use any abilities initially in this slow animation. It's so rough as a solo. Okay, our ability just magically whiffs for no reason. Old games do be like that sometimes. But you know what? The fact of the matter is, we don't even need it, but we still have a second cast, just in case. Okay.
I require another minion.
But you see why this is one of the most dangerous boss fights, just because of jank like that, where it's like, he just gets so much free damage on you when you're slowed, and then he just has all these like weird, janky mechanics of his own, like the fact that we just literally whiffed 2 ultimate abilities in a row. Luckily, we still just have good damage on our base attacks. We don't need them. They're just there to finish the fight easier and more smoothly. Might as well loot this area while we're here. I got my extremes back. Continue on. And we are level 21, right on the edge of level 21, so it could even be worth buying a level to get up to 22. As you can see, Act 2, even with that little faffing, finished nice and quick, 1 hour. Duh. And we save Beast, we kill Mikhail. You know, even on your leveling build, Nightcrawler is pretty damn nice.
Greetings, my friend.
I owe it.
Thanks to your having now.
I pressed that button by accident. This could be very bad, but hopefully my game doesn't crash. Thankfully, it didn't.
Greetings.
I don't lose all that progress. That's very good. Alright. We'll go ahead and save, and tomorrow night, I will continue and do some more of this content. And now that we are level 21, we can get Piercing Strike, even on the first rank, as you can see. It's very freaking good, and it's really going to be nice for us because we already have those points in Sword Mastery. So we might as well, you know. In fact, you know what? Let's go do the qualifying exam now that we do have Piercing Strike, just to finish up, you know. I don't have my extremes, which will slow me down just a little bit, but we should be fine.
Nightcrawler.
We have a mission.
Good, we have a mission.
The training course has loaded. You may commence.
And as you can see, that's Piercing Strike, so the reason why it's more of a single target, just because of the way the hitbox works. Oh, okay, I do have my ults. Alright, well. Oh, it whiffs! It's so frustrating. I should have waited until he landed. Anyway, that's a third of his health gone. as you can see, the combination of those two abilities chips them down quite nicely. And the big nice thing about a Nightcrawler sword build is like you still have teleport attack as your engagement, so you know you can kind of always just be on top of them. You know, stacking bleeds, and when the bleeds are stacked, then you just hack into them with divine blades. It's not a bad build at all. You know, and he still has Master of Chaos. It's just not as strong without teleport mastery. But as you can see, it still pretty much like takes a third of an Act boss's health away in one cast. It's not weak by any stretch. And then, of course, this ability would become much more important on a sword build, because in a sword build you just have to go in and tank a bit more damage. So this ability also will become much more important. Whereas if you are teleporting, you are just naturally much safer. Your teleport abilities have a long stun. And we got a lot of gear to sell here, but we'll sort all that tomorrow. It's fine. It's nice to have to be sitting on a bunch of nice loots. Actually, I'll sell it now because I already know that what I'm going to do is I'm going to load my game tomorrow, and then I'm going to play, and I'm going to go straight into the core, and I'm going to come to like 3 gear pieces, and you're going to try to pick them up and not be able to pick them up because I have all this crap still in my inventory. So let's just do this now, and I don't have to worry about doing it later.
Any questions?
And yeah, it could be worth holding on to that, because depending on what sort of equipment we find, you know, having a kind of alternate piece to
Again. What can I
optimize the damage spread could be very helpful. Now let's see if there's anything in here worth saving for. I don't think there will be, because anything that's good, the level is likely to be extremely high. Like this level 30 could be worth saving for, actually. We do need a decent armor, we really do. The game has not been very generous with us at all on armor, and we're right on the edge of a level. We'll be getting that level up after we get it. So, nice bit of a speed run on some extra levels. Anyway, that's enough of my babble. That's enough dragging it out. We're at 1 hour and 10 minutes. I'll be back tomorrow, and we'll do the core and hopefully not die there. Anyway, until then, take care. Let me just save, just in case my game decides to crash. And thanks to anyone who checked in. I shall catch you on the flip side when I stream the next act 3? Yeah, the call tomorrow. Anyway, until then, take care.
Loaded.